So let's play just a little bit more. If you could stomach, just a little bit more. Ugh, God, I can't take it anymore. Here we go.
And Caddy K. Caddy has a question. Caddy.
So, Senator, the record recently of centrist candidates in the face of more populist candidates seems to be that the centrists do better when they talk about economic issues rather than about cultural issues. So given what you were saying about Florida and Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and the importance of winning states that are very different, are you prepared to put any names to that ideal candidate that you were suggesting that can run on results in those different, diverse states and produce something for the Democratic Party?
I'm not ready to put names on it because I think this is going to be a testing period in the next 6 to 8 months for each candidate to show themselves to the American people and to see if they can inspire. Don't discount how important that piece of it is. People want someone who's real, who's not poll-driven, who's not trying to drive to a certain answer on a certain question that, you know, spiked in a certain demographic. They're wanting someone who is going to say to them, we will bring down the price of prescription drugs because I will gather enough votes because you're mad enough about it. We owe you results.
God, I cannot take any more of this propaganda. Make it stop, please, please. So, you know, Morning Joe, they're not journalists, so they just let her, you know, say that nonsense. But for those of us who are journalists, for those of us who read a lot, for those of us who are on opensecrets.org quite a lot, for those of us who know who these politicians are taking money from, it's really funny seeing Claire McCaskill talk about we got to take it to these pharmaceutical companies. So I want to give you a little list here. This is the top 5 contributors to soon-to-be ex-senator from Missouri, Claire McCaskill. She's been in the Senate from 2005 to 2018. Right down there, number 6, she's taken $210,000 and $210,416 from Express Scripts. Now, for those of you that don't know what Express Scripts is, hey, if corporate media does a good piece, I'll give them credit. Here's a little, a good primer on Express Scripts from Newsweek, of all. Newsweek, if you know what I think about Newsweek. Understanding the hidden villain of Big Pharma, pharmacy benefit managers. In the past few months, 4 bills have been introduced in Congress calling for transparency in prescription drug pricing. These bills, the names of the bills, largely concern pharmacy benefit managers, called PBMs, a heretofore largely unrecognized component of the pharmaceutical industry. PBMs is quietly becoming an integral part of the pharmaceutical supply chain. That is, the path a drug takes from the manufacturing facility to a bathroom medicine cabinet, following the passage of the Medicare Modernization Act in 2003. In recent years, PBMs have become a cause for alarm because these bills allege they drive up drug prices and interfere with patients' access to medications. In 2015, Express Scripts, which has given Claire McCaskill $210,416 in her career. In 2015, Express Scripts, the largest PBM-only company in the U.S., reported a profit of more than $660 million from sales exceeding $25 billion. But even as drug prices and access have become increasingly at the mercy of PBMs, how they operate has remained mostly hidden. Earlier this year, Community Oncology Alliance, an advocacy organization for community-based cancer care practices, commissioned a report exposing how PBMs work and the damage they are causing. Newsweek spoke with COA Executive Director Ted Oken about what many health experts believe is Big Pharma's latest villain. And just a little bit more. Community-based oncology practices provide nearly 60% of the cancer care in the U.S. Often, these small practices have their own pharmacies or drug dispensing facility, Many cancer drugs, particularly the newer oral medications, are very expensive and won't be stocked by the typical corner pharmacy. Plus, because of how cancer care works, it's ideal if the medication is available right at the practice. In the past few years, however, PBMs have played a more aggressive hand in cancer care. These companies are shaping what drugs a physician may prescribe and how patients access medications. Such problems have been increasing, leading us to investigate how PBMs operate. So, here we go. So, how do PBMs cause drug prices to increase? This issue is a murky one, mainly because PBMs lack transparency. Oh, so Claire McCaskill is talking about we got to take it to the pharmaceutical companies. Meanwhile, she's hoarding money from one of the people that make it that we don't know. We don't know how to follow the money because it lacks transparency. I have heard these companies emphasize the importance of transparency, except for their interactions with drug companies. PBMs assert that these interactions are the secret sauce that enable them to keep prices down. But I have come to the conclusion that this lack of transparency is actually driving prices up. But the bottom line is, Claire McCaskill is hoarding money from one of the bigger underreported villains of Big Pharma while talking about taking it to Big Pharma. Why? Because she is a fraud, just like the majority of her Democratic colleagues. So Claire McCaskill talking about taking it to the pharmaceutical companies. And we end with this. With Claire.
That's the kind of stuff that people are sitting around their kitchen tables talking about. And the reason they're so mad at everybody in Washington is because we're really not changing much that matters to them. No wonder they're mad. And I think the candidate that can capture what Donald Trump did is he tapped a vein of anger and frustration. And our candidate needs to recognize that anger and frustration and inspire people that we can actually accomplish something for them, not just go to the lowest common denominator like Trump did. You know, the problem is Mexicans or the problem is Muslims, but rather the problem is that the pharmaceutical industry has a vice grip on Washington, and I'll break it up.
Senator, I've got a question and a very quick follow-up. The question is, that was a really good speech you just gave. I've read that you don't intend to run again, for the Senate. Why is that? You still seem to have a lot of energy and enthusiasm and ideas for this. Do you think maybe you might change your mind?
No, I'm done. I'm sick of I am so sick of asking for money.
Oh, well, at least she's honest about one thing, right? She's very sick about asking for money. Very sick about asking for money. Well, to button it up on Claire McCaskill and her fraudulence and ties to the pharmaceutical industry, who she says needs to be taken on, here we go. McCaskill amends past personal financial reports, including reports on stock of opioid manufacturer. It's too easy. It's too easy to find them. Because corruption, no, journalists don't really look into these things, so that's why corruption continues. Senator Claire McCaskill has removed 8 investment transactions that collectively added up to between $400,000 and $1.5 million from 2 years of her annual personal financial disclosure reports, saying they should have instead been listed as transactions of a family foundation she formed with her husband. One series of transactions removed was the purchase in 2014 and the sale in 2015 of between $15,000 and $50,000 in stock of Allergen, an opioid manufacturer that was one of 5 companies sued last week by the state of Ohio for contributing to the opioid crisis by failing to accurately describe their risks. You cannot make this up. She's talking about taking it to the pharmaceutical industry when she's hoarding money from the pharmaceutical industry and then investing in opioids that are literally destroying West Virginia, that are literally destroying Ohio, that are literally destroying Indiana, Pennsylvania. You could go across the list. So here's what and by the way, sorry, I'm not sexist. It's not a personal thing, Claire, but you're a fucking hypocrite. You're fucking corrupt. You're fucking phony. You talk out of one side of your mouth while taking money out of the other side. And people like you need to go. People like you need to go. Leave Congress. We don't want you anymore. We don't want you in Missouri. We don't want you in New York. We don't want you, period. This isn't really about Claire McCaskill. Like, I didn't go on for an hour about Claire McCaskill because I care about Claire McCaskill. I'm showing you that our corporate media is literally, and by the way, somebody left a comment this week that I say literally too much. You're right. I do say literally too much, but whatever. The corporate media is literally sitting there basically offering lying politicians, or basically offering propagandists. Claire McCaskill is putting out propaganda about Bernie Sanders. Claire McCaskill is putting out lies about the pharmaceutical company, how she wants to take it on. And they're sitting there and they're basically offering them, do you want a soft tissue massage today or a deep tissue massage? Can we offer you a very gentle, relaxing massage, or do you want us to go deeper in your muscles? Can we offer you a chai latte? Can we offer you a chai latte? What can we offer you to further your propaganda? And Bernie Sanders, if he runs again, which I think it's pretty clear he's going to run, Bernie Sanders, this is what he's up against, folks. This is what he's up against.